It's time to really dig deep into what your crochet business needs to become a profit-making machine. Hooked on Success dives deep into all the ways your crochet can make money, how to market and grow your audience, and then how to stitch all the elements together to create your ideal business. Join us now at crochetbusinessschool.com/success.
Welcome to the Crochet Business School podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Thomas, and I'm going to help you to make your crochet business dreams a reality, stitch by stitch, without you being chained to your hook and being able to live that lifestyle you've been dreaming of using the power of your crochet.
Would you describe yourself and your crochet as the original, the authentic, the one and only? These words are a great way of making your crochet stand out. We all want the original. We all want the one and only. We want the authentic. People pay more when they feel that they are getting the best, that they are getting the original recipe. And this feeds into everyone wanting the best quality, the best product that they can get. Now, this ties in more if you are selling what you make and selling the pattern as well. Now, you can do both. I know a big reason why some people don't sell the patterns of what they're selling to make is because they're afraid other designers will buy the pattern, make things to sell for themselves, and it will cost them sales. That's not true. It won't cost you sales because there is more than enough business out there for everyone. The chance of you having the same audience as another crochet designer is pretty slim. But these words, the original, the authentic, the one and only, can help you if you do find yourself in that situation, or you are worried about another designer selling the same thing as you. Because these make us stand out. However, if you're going to use these words and phrases, you have got to back it up with your story. You have got to explain why you have the right to say that you are the original. You have to justify the use of the words, the one and only. You have to justify why you are the authentic. And the story behind this is what's going to make people go, oh, okay then, I'll buy it from you. But if you use these words and there's no story, it just makes it look like a marketing gimmick. It just makes you look, it gives people the ick if there's no story behind this. But if you do use the story, it can be incredibly powerful. And not only can it get you more sales, it also helps justify you increasing your prices. And we always need to increase our prices. Crochet is notorious for underpricing, but the story behind using these words justifies the price hike. So what are we talking about? We are talking about people wanting the best, the original, the authentic. You see it in brands all over the world. The one that comes to mind for me is Jack Daniels. I know it's whiskey, but there are countless brands of whiskey out there. Jack Daniels is not the cheapest whiskey. It's actually quite expensive. But they justify the pricing with their story. The reason these come to mind is because I recently saw an ad for them. And in that ad, they explained their origin story. I don't remember the story exactly, but they talked about their founder. They talked about how long they aged the whiskey for in the caskets. They talked about the process. They gave you a story, and it was in an ad on TV. It was a 30-second ad, and they put the story in it. And you came away from the ad thinking, that's something a bit unique. I'm kind of curious as to what that tastes like. I'm not a whiskey drinker, but I can see how that's a powerful marketing technique. They are the only Jack Daniels. They are not cheap, but they are using their story to sell. And they're very successful, so it's clearly working for them. What about KFC? Kentucky Fried Chicken. Original recipe. They are the original. There are plenty of knockoff Southern Fried Chicken brands out there, but KFC is the original. They use this in their marketing campaigns everywhere. Because we all want the original recipe. We want the first time it was made. We want the authentic recipe. Everyone else is cheap knockoffs, and they're making sure we know it by using the word original. They did it first, therefore they are the best. That's the meaning behind that word. So if you are selling your crochet and you also sell the pattern, and another designer starts selling it as well, because they bought your pattern, you cannot stop other designers from making items from your pattern and selling them. It doesn't matter if you put a disclaimer on the bottom, you cannot stop it. If this happens, you can say you are the original, you can say you are the authentic. And then you tell them why. You tell them how you designed Daisy Bear back in 2006 because your little cousin really wanted their own teddy bear, they wanted their own design, and you decided to make one. And became very successful. You were selling bears left, right, and centre. And then you decided to make the pattern available so the love of Daisy Bear could spread. And you've been selling the pattern for the last 5 years. But you are still the original. It's time to really get stuck in and get your crochet business growing. I created the Hooked on Success podcast membership to help you do just that. Dive deeper into specific topics and discover the nitty-gritty of all the cogs and wheels that are needed to turn your crochet into a career. Go to crochetbusinesschool.com/success to get started now. You are still the authentic. Only here can you buy the original Daisy Bear. This is the kind of story you have to use to justify the words. If you want to be the original or the authentic, you have to tell that story. Without that story, it's just a marketing gimmick and a bit icky. The story does the selling. The word gets people's attention. The story makes them buy. And because you're the original and the authentic, you can justify charging higher than any other designer who's selling your bear right now, or any other crochet business who's selling that bear. And that works for everything. But what about if you're not selling the pattern? What if you're just selling what you make and somebody else happens to have a design that's very similar? Well, that's where the phrase "the one and only" comes in. But you can only do this if you designed that item. The design has to be yours. Doesn't matter if you haven't wrote it down, as long as you have the story. If the design is solely yours, you can use the phrase "the one and only." You can only find it here. This is my design. It's the original. You cannot find it anywhere else because I have given the pattern to nobody. This is the only place you can get the one and only raggedy doll. In that circumstance, you can use the one and only. Now, if you're selling something from somebody else's design, you can't use these words because the design is not yours. You cannot own it. And that doesn't stop you from coming up with a story about where you came across the pattern. You can even credit the designer and show that you have integrity in that you're admitting it's not your pattern. Nothing wrong with that. Everyone likes to show that you have integrity, and that crediting the original designer helps you with that. But if you did not design the pattern, you cannot claim to be the original, the authentic, and the one and only. It doesn't matter if you've tweaked it. The original main design is not yours. But if it is, then you can go ahead and use this because it's true. But people want to see why. They want to read why you're using them. You do have to justify it in your descriptions. But it also becomes part of your marketing. As Jack Daniels do, as KFC do, their origin story becomes part of their marketing campaigns. You tell your followers the story. You make it part of your shop's history. You make it part of your about. When people ask you, how did you start this business? Tell them the story. It doesn't matter that it only applies to one product. It matters that this product is so popular that you need to tell this story. And it becomes part of your brand identity. That product will then become your featured item. It will be what you are known for. You can have several dozen other products available, but if that is the one with the story, then that is going to be more powerful than anything else. An origin story is a very powerful marketing tool for your crochet. So use it. You can sell what you make and sell the pattern for it as well. You do not need to fear other designers taking away business. In fact, if you sell both, you will make more money because people who buy your finished crochet and the people who buy crochet patterns are two completely different audiences. Crocheters do not buy finished crochet unless it's been crocheted by a designer they avidly follow and they want to own a piece of their crochet. That is the only way. In general, crocheters do not buy crochet. They buy crochet patterns. And similarly, the people who buy crochet are not crocheters. They will not buy crochet patterns. You've got two completely different audiences. They do not overlap. Which means you can make way more money selling both than just one or the other. Well, if you are just going to sell one, sell the pattern. There's more money in crochet patterns than in selling what you make, and it's far more time effective. But if you want to do both, do both. You will not lose out on sales. You do not have to fear other crochet businesses picking up your pattern and selling it and selling what they make from it. That is nothing to fear because the chances are you do not have the same audiences. But if it does worry you, then use the original, the authentic, the one and only, and tell the story. The story is the most important part. Tell it loud and proud. Put it in your shop listings. Shout about it on your social media. Use it in your newsletters. Use it everywhere. Because it is one of the most powerful marketing tools that you could possibly come up with.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Crochet Business School podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes and please subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Crochet Business School. Subscribe to the channels because I would love to hear from you and what you're up to in your own crochet business. If you have any questions about creating and growing your own crochet business, please send them my way and I'll answer them in future episodes. So thank you for joining me and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye for now.